I've got two other videos on this generator. The first one is basically bringing it back from the dead and getting it running. Separate video is rehabbing the fuel tank. It was full of rust and varnish and just, I mean, if you fill a tank up with gas and let it sit for 16 years, that's what it was. So as it sits now, it's perfectly functional. Everything is good to go. The one issue with it is it's mounted on this homemade dolly thing. And that, I swear to God, that thing weighs as much as this generator. I mean, it's just stupid how heavy it is. So I want to get a wheel kit for it. Now, if you've looked for wheel kits, you know, they ain't cheap. Apparently there's not competition for those yet, because the good wheel kit at Harbor Freight is 60 bucks. The cheap wheel kit is, like little plastic wheels, is 40 bucks. And you can catch them on sale, but so what I did is I bought this. This is the wheel kit for a trash pump. The reason I bought this one is I want the rubber tires, I want the big tires, but I don't want to pay $60. And all the wheel kits Harbor Freight sells are for Harbor Freight generators. And you know, they don't make a wheel kit for a Power Pro 3500 from 18 years ago. So whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna retrofit. And the one thing that intrigued me about this one is, if you see how the way it mounts, it clamps to the cage versus having an axle that goes straight through, because I believe, yeah, that one doesn't even have holes in the bars down the bottom. There's not even holes for an axle to go through. So whatever we do is gonna be, you're either gonna drill a hole or you're gonna clamp to this thing. And I really like the way this clamps. So I know I can make this work. I know one way or the other I can make this work. My gut feeling is this may be too wide. I mean, maybe this is all universal standard size, so this may be way easier than I thought, but I doubt it. Yeah, no, it's not gonna fit, but we'll make it fit. But this is the real reason I wanted this one. I want something that's nice and easy to pull. If I'm not here, my wife can drag, or my kid can drag it around. This is the same kind of wheels I have on my pressure washer, and it's that thing. It's super easy to drag around. So let me get set up here and we'll get started. The first thing is going to be just unattaching it from this. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my stuff organized here, and the first step is to put this bracket on. Now they go like this. I don't know why you couldn't, if you wanted to, like this, but I think they're trying to get the axle up higher. So we'll do it the way they say to. This flange goes towards the outside. You have one of the long, everything comes pre-assembled, the nuts and bolts. So I put them, there's three groups. There's these, and then somewhere in there's two little shorties. But these are the long ones, 10 millimeter, of course. So the two holes go on the bottom, the four holes go over here. So I went ahead and pre-assembled it like this, so I can, like that. And these are barely long enough, at least for this housing. I don't know if this tube is bigger on this generator than on their freshwater pump, but we're right at the edge of what this can accommodate. You can see I've barely got the bolts on there. Nuts and bolts, got them as long as they'll go. Once you get the impact on it, that'll fix it, but I know y'all can't really see anything. This is supposed to go behind it. We've already got our first complication here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim this off, this little corner. Then once that's trimmed off, I think we may have to put a little cut right here to allow this to slide up over this mounting bracket, but probably not much. Okay, so the first thing I want to see is just how much this is in the way. If you're looking straight through, you can see it, how much it needs to move. So basically half the distance of one of these holes. All right, we'll let that cool down. We'll give it a shot. Okay, yeah, that really didn't work. So what it is that I just cut it like this, and we'll just go without this bolt. But I think doing that, I think I can get it all to cooperate. So let's see if we can get one of these in. Yeah, same situation. So I was able to get the bolt on, but no lock washers. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, so this one has a lock washer. This one doesn't. We'll just get rid of the need for a lock washer. That is not going anywhere. So everybody happy? All right, so that side is done. Now I'm going to do this side, and I'll just do it off camera because it's the same without any complications. It's literally bolted on, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do for the front part. Some of y'all may have figured this out when I was doing it. Surprise, surprise, I interpreted one of the instructions wrong, and this goes on the inside. So basically I got to take this bracket, put it over here, put this bracket over here, because this is supposed to be to the outside. Because I was like, okay, so they want me to just put this big nut and hammer it up against this little lip. It should go up against that. The confusing part in the instructions is they have a picture here right there, and that looks to me that the wheel goes up against the that thing right there is actually just this. So I'm not gonna film it, but I'm gonna flop these around. Of course, at the beginning of the video, when I say put this on the outside, I'm gonna say nope, other way around. So let me get these swapped, then we'll come back. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is install the axle. Now that I get everything flipped around. Now, one thing I found off camera is if you just put the nut on, at least on the other side, let's see if this side's different. If you put the nut on, there's a bunch of slop. So now it'll suck up a little bit, but what I did, which I don't think you have to do, but what I did is I got a couple washers. These did not come with it. And then once you tighten it up, it gets snug. So that's a 17 millimeter. This is 21 millimeter. So if you look, there's two flats on it. See right here? So 21 will fit on there. It's good and tight. Now it's snug. And then what happens is you've got 4 washers, so 2 on each side. Put a big washer on. Now that goes on the outside. Small washer. Then the wheel. Then another washer. Then a nut. Now I'm going to leave the wheel off for now for ease of working on it, but you do the same on both sides and then you're ready for the front brace. So let me get this thing spun around and we'll do that. I've got this thing flipped around and you can see there's this silver bolt right there. There's one here. And this apparently, I mean, it's off a little bit, but I can bend it. I think I'll be able to bend it and make it fit. But the better news is, because this doesn't come with the rubber feet, you're supposed to use the rubber feet that pre-exist, which I was going to rig something, but apparently that's what these are. So there's rubber feet on here. They're just recessed for, doesn't make any sense to me. I have no clue what I don't know. But I'm going to use these feet for sure. And then I'm going to use this hole because we got this one in the way. Although I can probably bolt to that. Let me get these feet off. Yeah, sweet. So I don't have to go searching Amazon for rubber feet. So let's see if we hook onto that one. It's kind of even. If we hook onto that, it's way off. I guess what I need to do is put a tire on. We need to see what somewhat level looks like. But that, according to this level over here, is pretty much level. So, I mean, it's all subjective, but that lets us know kind of what we're looking at as far as this distance. Because basically we're shooting for this level right here, so man, I'm going to tell you what, that's a little low. Yeah, I can't center it, but I can get it close. But then it'll be low in the front. But if I can get like this bolt right here, if I can get a long one, I can put a couple nuts on it and shim it down to here. So let me take this out. Hopefully I can get it out easily. Okay. Get all the headway. Whoa, she, I like those. Oh, yeah, okay. So the jack is holding this up, not this up. So, word to the wise here. There we go. Then I can get a long nut in there, bolt, whatever. It's hitting the gas tank. Oh, come on. So the problem with my idea is I thought this was a bolt, but this is actually pressed in. Yeah, I wish, see, I need this long end down here. I could cut this off and drill it out. Well, we're going way down the rabbit hole, aren't we? It's probably going to make more sense. I'll just get up in there. So what I'm thinking, instead of trying to, that's a lot, I can do it. I don't feel like fabricating, you know, we're getting past fun and getting into stupid area. So I'm gonna make this hole bigger. And then we can go like this. Now it won't be completely centered, but I mean, it's not a big deal. So what I need to do is find the bolts I'm gonna use first before I put this stuff back together. I'm gonna find which bolts I want to use to get me the distance. And if I got to drill this out, I'm gonna drill it out now while this is out of my way. So let me find some bolts, I'll be back. It's $2.23. Tractor Supply has a section of nuts and bolts. They got stainless, I think that's $5. This was $3. Basically it's per pound. So just a helpful tip if you didn't know that. And so I got 2.5 inch and 2 inch long. We'll see which one we think. All right, let me go do the other side. Yeah, looks good. So what I did was I put a little angle like this right here to stretch this out to make these farther apart. I don't know if y'all can see that hole that's drilled right there and the hole that's drilled right there. There was about this much of a gap. Okay, stretching it out allows us to sit. Okay, so now we know, and I've got this level. So the frame, this thing's sitting, this is where we want it. So with this here, I'm thinking all we need to do is put one nut as a shim. So basically shim this thing down the thickness of one nut. I think that'll be good. So what I need to do, take these and get them prepared, because I'll probably end up, after I put it together, I might cut the bottom off, but I'm gonna go to the grinder. This carriage bolt, it won't go down, so I can either grind the edges off or just put washers underneath it. go. So that's the height we want. We need to put another washer because I don't want to bolt on this, so a washer, another washer, lock nut, and a regular nut. That's pretty dang close. So I'm happy with it. So offline I will tighten these nuts up and then to figure out the handle. So be back. If I did it like that and just grabbed the two bottom holes, I think that would work. Okay, the first step is to take one of these straps and cut it in half because we're going to need cut here and here because we need two individual straps. Okay, it looks like I've made some marks, but I think if I use this one up here, and there's one right there, that can be the first one. And I do believe it'll barely give us enough room to do this. Problem is I can only cheat this down so far. That's the limit right there. So I can go a little bit below this. Not much, but a little bit. Right there. So from the bottom, we're just 2 below 4. We're pretty much centered with that. So we'll come over here, centered. Okay, I've got it all mocked up here, so I want to trim this about right there if we can, as much as we can off that, as much as we can off that. Then we'll go here, here. Then I'll put those other two in and mark where I want to trim those two, and we'll come back. All right, from this point forward, I lost the audio, but what I'm doing here is I'm doing the final install of the bolts and the little brackets that I made. And I didn't film it, but I also painted them black, you can see. And what I'm talking about now is I'm going to take a grinder and just cut the ends off the bolts just to make it look cleaner. And I also end up painting it. Now I'm installing the carry handle, and this was like actually the only thing that I didn't have to modify through this whole project, but it went on fine, no problems. And then here's the little lanyard with a like a pin that you can put in there to keep the handle from flopping around, I guess. I think the main use for it is to actually hold the handle up when you want it up, but it also has a way to secure it in the down position. Overall, would I do it again? I'd say yes, because I didn't have a choice. That's one of the things, if you've got a generator that doesn't have a wheel kit available, you're going to have to retrofit something. It was a lot more retrofitting than I anticipated, but I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. I kind of enjoy the problem solving part of it, but I think it turned out great. You can see I did a little more rattle can restoration on this thing. I painted the frame and some other stuff off camera, but it actually looks really cool. And those big wheels make it so easy to move around and get over curbs and stuff like that. And here I'm pointing out the fact that this thing doesn't have pre-drilled holes for a wheel kit. But it worked great. If you've got any questions about the process or comments or accusations, just let me know. Put a comment down there. I'd appreciate a thumbs up also. And if you're interested in that Kubota in the background, I've got a whole series on restoring that thing from literally something that had been left under a tree for about 3 years, covered in moss, to the way you see it now. But that's it. This generator project is done, from the scrap heap to looking nice and working good. So hope this helped you. If you got any questions, let me know. See you.